What's up guys, it's me, Straw Hat Nate, and I'm back with another One Piece chapter review this week. The chapter this week is chapter 1111 of One Piece, titled The Sun Shield. And just starting off, I have to mention the uniqueness of the quadruple ones, since this will most likely be the only time where we ever get 4 of the same number in a chapter number, because I don't think One Piece is gonna hit chapter 2222. But coming off of last chapter, we had major arrivals on Egghead by the Gorosei, and this one takes more time introducing the strong leaders of the world and making them more of a threat. This chapter can be split into 2 big sections. The first section mainly is in the Labo phase, dealing with the aftermath of Lucci's defeat and St. Marcus Mars breaking in. And then the second, more exciting section is a grand battle with Luffy and the Giants on the good side and most of the Gorosei on the bad side. And this fight displays more of Luffy's Gear 5 abilities, along with some other crazy powers for other characters too. But that's not all, because at the very end, we see someone waking up, and I'll discuss who this someone is later on in the video, so stay till then. Now let's get right into this chapter, right after you like and subscribe first. I'll talk about the covers first. I said covers plural since One Piece is featured on Shonen Jump this week, with Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji all wearing like stereotypical pirate attire, and the actual cover now is a color spread of some of the Straw Hats eating french fries on top of jellyfish, so it's really odd and kind of strange. And by the way, Dr. Vegapunk, Kuma, and Bonnie are there with him, just hanging out. The chapter now actually begins with Marcus Mars in his Itsumade form, the big bird dragon thing, and he's breaking through the barrier of the Labo phase. We saw him attempt this last chapter, but now we see that he is definitely inside, and he can definitely stir up some trouble with the Straw Hats that are in there. And next we see Jinbei, who's on the ground, witnessing Zoro finish up his fight with Lucci, and Jinbei wants to get out of there as soon as possible with Zoro, now that the Gorosei member has broken into the Labo phase. Jinbei saw this and he's freaked out. And Lucci is actually still standing with 3 massive sword wounds from Zoro, like through his whole body. And Lucci screams and is ready to like keep going, it looks like, which is respectable for him because he's giving it his all. But Jinbei is ready to just dash away with Zoro, so he uses Fishman Karate to blow away Lucci and also blow himself backwards. And with this attack, Lucci is pretty much done, and now he reverts back to his humanoid form. But now St. Marcus Mars, Lucci's boss I guess, lands beside him, and I think this is a weird scene because Lucci is a human and he's talking casually with Mars, who is a massive like demon beast. And Mars wants to just know where York is so that they can figure out how to stop Vegapunk's broadcast, but Lucci doesn't know. He's been busy fighting. And Lucci tells him that there's 6 minutes left until Vegapunk's secrets get out, so he does know that. And we're slowly chucking away at time here. Then Mars surprisingly compliments Lucci for being a good servant essentially and fighting against the pirates for the Gorosei, because he's been a really good help to the world government. And as Mars is leaving though, Lucci makes a final request to spare his friend Kaku's life, showing a kind of good and humane side of Lucci that we never really see. Kaku has been there for Lucci, so he should be there for Kaku in return if he can. But Mars responds as he flies away, and he says that it's going to be difficult to distinguish Kaku from the rest of the insects, so he's probably not going to even care about him. Unlike Lucci, who seems to have a human side, the Gorosei are so far removed from humanity and like any kind of kindness. Now we switch gears and see Luffy, who is laughing with his giant friends, Dory and Bragi. Ironically, they ask him why he looks like the god that they worship in their culture on Elbaf. Luffy, of course, doesn't know the truth behind his Gear 5 powers as being the manifestation of the sun god, so he doesn't know what Dory and Bragi are even talking about. Saint Saturn in his Gyuki form that we've seen a lot so far, and Saint Warkuri in his Hoki form, the like boar, are watching, and the two of them seem familiar with giants, probably since the giants have fought against the world government for centuries. And Bragi then says that their job is just to get Luffy back to the boat on the end of the island so that they can escape. So then we see a map of Egghead to kind of get a good look of what our complete situation is. So Luffy and the giants have to travel across the whole island to get back to the ship. Sanji and Vegapunk are already halfway to the ship. Bonnie and Frankie are nearly there, they're super close. And Nami and Usopp are still in the Labo phase, but they're trying to figure out how to get down and also how to get the Thousand Sunny down. And looking at this, it doesn't seem hard to get everyone together to escape, but then we have to remember that the Gorosei are such a scary threat, and they're still looming around the island. And Dory now blows the horn to retreat, showing that these giants have at least some smarts and they're not just all bulky fighters. And we see a lot of the giants reacting to the horn and working together to make this retreat happen successfully. Warkuri can't let this retreat happen, of course, so he lets out a tremendous roar, which is most definitely filled with Conqueror's Haki. And the roar is heard all around the island, but Luffy, who is right in front of Warkuri, takes the blunt force of it. In a quite strange panel, Luffy's body parts, like his eyes, hat, shoes, and even his chest scar, fall off of his body in like a cartoony way, but that's just how Luffy is now in Gear 5. And Dory and Bragi's reaction to Luffy in this moment are funny because they've never seen anything like Luffy in their life. They're honestly kind of scared of whatever is happening to Luffy, but Luffy is able to bring his body back together just fine. Now, Warkuri's next attack is to rush at them with his horns, which become like swords, I guess, and Dory and Bragi end up blocking with their shields. They call their shields Svalin, which translates to sun shield from Nordic, and this ties into the giants believing in the sun god too. After this, they attack together using a move called Skilja, which translates to separation in English, and this actually successfully pushes Warkuri backwards, which Saturn has a funny reaction to, and he starts to spit venomous exploding balls at Luffy and the giants, which Luffy responds to by turning a nearby palm tree into a literal baseball bat. With this baseball bat, which he even paints black like in the process and gets a helmet too, he sends all of these venomous exploding balls back to the sender, Saint Saturn. And these balls that Luffy hit back at them create an enormous explosion that even has like mushroom clouds. So you would think that it would at least damage the Gorosei. Well, it turns out the Gorosei take absolutely no damage from these explosions and just get up like nothing happened. While Dory and Bragi are laughing in shock and confusion at Luffy's Gear 5 abilities, Luffy, for once, is the more serious one and notices that the Gorosei aren't actually dead. But Luffy and the giants take this chance while the Gorosei are a little distracted to get away, because remember, that's what they're trying to do all along. With the last few panels now, we get a ton of information To start, Nami is telling Zoro and Jinbei to hurry up to the ship so we can really get a sense of the urgency here. The Straw Hats really need to get out. And Bonnie is now at the ship, but some vice admirals, specifically Pomsky, Guillotine, and Red King, are there blocking her path. So they're gonna have to go through them first in order to get on the ship, which, I don't know, doesn't seem too hard. Back up in the Labo phase, we see York for the first time in a long time, actually, since Mars has finally found her. And obviously she's scared because she doesn't even recognize Marcus Mars. She's seen his human form before because she's met the Gorosei, but she's never seen the beast form because nobody sees them. Next, we see Kizaru resting on the ship that he landed on a few chapters ago, and he looks like he won't be rejoining the battle anytime soon. His fighting capabilities has been kind of disappointing in Egghead, to be honest. Now, to end the chapter, we see none other than the ancient robot finally standing up. This robot has been teased for a while now, only moving slightly here and there when Luffy activated Gear 5, but now it's time for him to actually join the battle, it looks like. And it's even bigger than the giants, and it isn't even taking any damage from the surrounding fire, so I think it might be able to hang with at least one of the Gorosei members. But that's the end of the chapter. It was another good one, of course. I personally couldn't care less about the Lucci situation at the beginning because of how weak he is now. But after that was done, the chapter was hype with all of the Luffy's Gear 5 shenanigans. And the chapter not only had fun action, but it also was insightful because we got a good grasp on the whole situation of Egghead Island with all of the Straw Hats in their separate groups. And I wonder what kind of difference this ancient robot will make on Egghead Island because it has been hyped up so much, so it better do something. Unfortunately, we have to wait a whole 3 weeks until the next chapter, but I wouldn't be mad about this. Oda deserves to take time off, especially after the passing of his friend Akira Toriyama, the author of Dragon Ball. Rest in peace to him. So, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, like and subscribe to show your support to me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.